What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Star Chasers Girls Talk Ball. As you know, it's your girl Cravin Cowboys, and as always, I got my brilliant sister in the building. How you doing tonight, Star?
What's up, Mickey? What's up, guys? Glad to be here again. Took a little break, but a little week break, but we're glad to be back, of course, right before the start of the season. So
Yeah, man.
we're excited. It's been a long off season, but it is soon to be over. It is soon to be over for us. I mean, the season officially kicks off tomorrow, but over for us on Sunday. I think we play at 3:25 prime time afternoon slot. So
right.
Super excited and glad that we finally made it to this point, because that means now the off-season rumors are finally coming to an end. We go finally be able to get some answers. So that's what I'm excited about. Shout out to Jay Money, Jameson. I know there'll be more people coming in, but super excited to kick off this season and see what happens.
No, I'm definitely with you, Star. Like you said, the season finally kicks off tomorrow, as you guys already know. Ravens, Chiefs. Of course, the AFC Championship. They're running it back at the beginning of the season, which I'm definitely not complaining about. Those two teams are definitely some powerhouses we love seeing playing each other. We know Patrick Mahomes. This, the show that he puts on every time he touches the field with, his counterparts, Travis Kelce, that defense, Chris Jones, just, showing the world it's all about last year, earning that contract as a very well deserved. And of course, on the other side, the Ravens, played well and played decently in the playoffs last year. Once they did get to the championship, unfortunately they didn't. But we know they were there for a reason, right? And we know often Dak Prescott is compared to Lamar Jackson as far as their postseason records and things like that. We know Lamar Jackson had MVP, Dak Prescott was runner-up. So we know these are two teams that of course that we all will all be sitting down watching, but two teams that we want to learn how to beat, right? We know we're going to be facing the Ravens. We don't necessarily face the Chiefs this season, but we know we're going to get an early test like the Ravens, like we have with this week coming up versus the Browns. As you guys kind of seen in the description, it's kind of like a rough and tumble battle. We know that, and that's kind of leading up to this week. Not directly comparing the two offenses to each other, the Browns and the Cowboys, but we both of these offenses have questions, if you will. We know we have questions with our running back room. We know that they unfortunately don't have Chubb, so they're going to be, they do still have a decent running game. We know they have, I believe, Ford over there, Deontay, who they brought in this past offseason, who's definitely a big body, definitely a big hitter. I think he was with the Bears and I think the Panthers, before that.
Who did you say they added?
Deontay Foreman, I believe they added.
Running back. Okay, Deontay Foreman. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the third running back. I'm sorry I left out Pierre Strong. But he's also in their backfield as well. But and this really just a committee, other teams are taking up, in past season, this season as well, the running back by committee. But they have a strong room, just in my opinion. Then we know about the other weapons they have over there. Amari Cooper, we know what it was like about having him on our side of the ball. But this time we do get to face him. I think the last time we did face the Browns, Amari Cooper was actually on our side of the ball, right? Star, is that?
That was correct, because the last time we played them was in 2020. So Amari was definitely on the team. He was on the team.
Yeah, so I guess I'll say this to kind of make a point. I'm definitely more excited if of course we on our side of the ball we have a newer defense coming into the season. So I'm definitely more excited, I'll say, to see the defenses of both these teams kind of face off against these respective offenses, if you will, with so many questions surrounding both teams. So if we just kind of jump right into it. And then a particular group you want to talk about first, because we can just really just jump into the trenches. Actually first we'll bring up let's talk about the practice report we did see earlier come out today, the unofficial depth chart that was actually released early this week. So actually that's my bad, kind of trying to jump too fast into things, but I actually want to mention Star sweepstakes. Of course, we have a giveaway. Well, Star's having a giveaway on her show. Let me get down this. Actually, this.
I'll talk about it. And shout out to the Lunatic. I got the Lunatic in the chat. Lou's take. Shout out to Lou. Y'all should check it out on my channel. Lou and I did a collab. I think it was last week on Monday. That was a fantastic collab. So y'all please go check that out. For sure. But for y'all in the chat, most of y'all are already subscribed. I don't know. There could be some viewers too because I am live on X/Twitter. But I am doing a sweepstakes. I am doing it until I reach 300 subscribers. I am currently at 280. So if y'all could help me, just 20 people from the. I've been growing like crazy on Twitter. I think I just reached this week 1,600.
Facts.
Uh, yeah, I just reached 1,600 on Twitter. So if just 20 of the 1,600 of y'all
Right. Facts.
could help start out so that I could get to 300 subscribers on YouTube, that would be phenomenal. So y'all please help me out. The directions, of course, are just right there on the screen. What's up, Carl? Glad to see you. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you just send a screenshot of proof to stargazingsportsmedia@gmail.com. One subscription equals one entry. If you donate $5 or more to my Cash App, what's up, Big Santana? If you donate $5 or more to my Cash App, which is $Stargazer Sports, you get an extra entry. But I am capping the entries at 5 per person. So if you basically, yeah, I'm capping the entries. So so you can donate as much as you want, but don't think you're just gonna keep donating and that's gonna have you 10 15 entries in there, because that would kind of be unfair. So please help me though. If you're already subscribed, share my content to your friends, family members, and stuff like that, so maybe I can get some other subscribers. I'm definitely working hard to keep putting out content for y'all every week. Last week I went to training camp and was able to put out some videos and clips and stuff like that, so y'all check that out as well. Did a show with Law, that was my first time meeting Law. Love Law. So did a show with Law. Then also, y'all know I do my shows with Boss Cowboy.
Right. And
As
also
well.
Boss Cowboy Jazz Monet was out there doing a show with y'all.
Jazz Monet.
That was a fire
Jazz
lineup.
from BLS, Bitches Love Sports. So y'all please help me. My Cash App is right there on the screen. J Money's $Stargazer Sports. That's my Cash App. But y'all please help me. You know what I'm saying? I'm growing kind of slow because I've been doing this for a while. But I'm like, why am I growing so slow? But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is just keep putting out my my authentic content, and hopefully you guys will catch on sooner or later. But also I want to shout out Mickey, because Mickey has like 500 subscribers now, so she's halfway to getting monetized. So y'all please subscribe to Mickey's channel as well, and which is Cravin Cowboys, to continue to help her grow and keep putting out great content for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, all my newer followers, honestly, please, I know you guys are watching and you guys follow me on Twitter/X. I have some newer followers on there. Make sure you guys please subscribe to Star. She, like I said, she is brilliant. She brings excellent facts. She always stands 10 toes on what she's talking about. And like she said, she's authentic, really to the bone. That's really why I mess with her so hard. It's just because I just love just the way she puts out content. And like I said, she's smart. I just love. She backs up what she says as well, and her content definitely backs up her hard work.
I was about to put my Snapchat in there, but I mean not Snapchat, my Cash App, but the Lunatic did it for me. Thank you, the Lunatic. I appreciate that.
Right, a real one, right? A real one and a day one. Really appreciate you, the Lunatic. Really appreciate you, the Lunatic. And also Carl Whittington, who snuck in here as well. We see you. Big Santana wanted to say hi. Thank you. Appreciate you, everybody who's joining us. And like Star said, thank you to everybody who's liked and shared the content and subscribed as well. Like I said, we really appreciate everyone supporting us every week and supporting our individual shows.
For sure.
Oh, he said he can't see. I'm driving. The Lunatic, he actually, like I say, $ Stargazer Sports.
Is that correct? It's $ Stargazer Sports, and it's in the chat for you, J Money. So whenever you get time to look down, you can put it on.
Definitely wait like a red light or until you get to that.
Yeah, definitely don't crash trying to send me a Cash App. But
right, we definitely condone safe driving. Definitely safe drive out there, bro. Definitely want you to make it home. as you
For
left
sure.
and understand. So we'll definitely jump into the show. Like I was mentioning, I think I'm about to mention the battle in the trenches. Just kind of going off. Earlier they released the unofficial depth chart. Will actually go up first before we actually talk about the practice report. But we know that
Mhm.
before I bring it up, let me switch over to this window right quick so I can share. Let me see if I can get this right.
What you saying?
Okay.
Oh, bring up the. Okay.
Yeah. Bring up the screen. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Okay, yeah, okay, good as well. All right, appreciate that, everybody, for just being patient. But yeah, as everyone I know, other content creators, other Cowboys media have mentioned that a lot of these things that we talked about with our with this unofficial depth chart, pretty much what we expected. We know the offensive line, the trenches on either side. David at JFK MLK, really appreciate you. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you for your support. But like I mentioned, no huge surprises. Tyler Guyton we expected throughout training camp, to start. Tyler Smith, of course, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. Of course, we know our starting five. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get our starting five out there. As we know, last year we didn't really, have a chance to have a starting five for the first few weeks. And it's
Hmm.
just personally for me, and I'm sure for other fans, it's exciting to be able to see what we're working with. I mean, we've seen the rookies work during training camp and pretty much since they've been here since orientation and just talking to other guys on the line like Tyler Smith, Terrence Steele, speaking about just how confident they are in these rookies and how much work they've actually done since being here. And then of course here on the other not the other side, but Cooper Beebe speaking about his experience, working with these guys in the room. Of course, Zach Martin just really just being a pillar of knowledge. I think they call him the general, of course. Him being the oldest in the room, but and just
Hmm.
the respect that they show, Zach Martin and not, I think it was Terrence Steele that they were interviewing. He kind of mentioned that Zach Martin was the only older gentleman on the line, but even so, they still paid him the respect of calling him a general. So I just love that.
Yep.
Although we talk about a fresh, newer line, a lot of the fans are excited about the youth that we're going with, and even Jerry Jones spoke to the youth with the old line. But it's just great that
Yep.
guys still show that much respect, that much reverence for Martin, and then just really kind of going off what he kind of gives to that room and just in my opinion, I think it just kind of flows from Tyler Smith to these younger guys. And
Yep.
they've actually kind of taken on the role themselves as being mentors, as being veterans. Tyler Smith, Terrence Steele, just because they've also put that time in, and they also recognize how much work these rookies are doing coming in.
Yeah. I think First of all, I would like to say, thanks the heavens that some people who was reporting that we were going to start the season with Brock Hoffman and Chuma Doga and center, Brock Hoffman at center and Chuma Doga left tackle, that was not true. Obviously, we drafted Tyler Guyton in the first round for a reason, and then we drafted Cooper Beebe in the third round for a reason, which everybody knows. Cooper Beebe was really he was projected to be like a bottom of the first, early second round pick, and we got him in the third round. So I'm just glad that we truly allowed competition to win out here in the offensive line room.
Exactly.
And even though these guys are young, you know what I'm saying? You don't learn. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate your kind words, Carl.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Keystone, what's up?
Tick and Keystone. Shout out to my guy Keystone. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that in this situation, the true competition won because I think it was clear. You could see from training camp. Then once you got the film from preseason, you could clearly see that Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe were ready.
Fact.
Are they perfect? No, they're rookies. They're gonna make mistakes, but these guys are ready. These are literally plug and play guys. So it's like the only way that they're going to get better and you don't stunt their growth is if you allow them to play. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
sitting them on the bench would have done nothing for them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It would have just
Right. Right, and
continued
to
to.
your point, Star. Don't let me cut you off, but I actually shout out to Aisha Morrison, and I think Carl brought her up earlier. She actually brought up a great point. To your point, Star, that they actually, like you said, they saw that BB clearly beat out Brock Hoffman for the position, and not only that, but they actually, like you said, they acted on it, and they were actually able to kind of start building that chemistry between Cooper BB and Dak Prescott. I mean, it's only been about a week or so they've actually really been working together. And you already hear about the BB, Dak correcting his, when he does get it wrong, or his calls at the line. So like you said, just them acting on it that early in training camp, so that way they able to actually start building that chemistry with each other.
Exactly. And so I really appreciate that. And Lou, he said, I kind of hate that they played around. Yeah, I think it was just Mike McCarthy. He is a very old school traditional guy. I mean, this is a guy that Mike McCarthy comes from the Bill Walsh tree. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came in under Hackett, I think Paul Hackett, and then he transitioned. He was under Marty Schottenheimer. So Mike McCarthy is a very old school guy where it's like you gotta earn it. What's up, Nisi? Glad to see you. Where you gotta earn it, and I think it's good because when you have rookies and you automatically tell them like you're the starter, like that's not the best thing for somebody. Like, you need to be able to. This is a sport, so you do need to be able to breed competition. And I'm glad that when these guys got their opportunity, and I knew that everybody was trying to say, Cooper Beebe and the snaps and all that stuff. And I said, okay, when we get to preseason, he gets his opportunity. I knew that he was going to be able to clearly separate himself from Brock Hoffman, which he did. So, and yes, Cooper Beebe has definitely been building more chemistry with Dak and stuff like that. And he's been doing it for about probably like 2 weeks now. And so it seems like they're on the same page. But I did watch his interview where he was like, and I know that like, even if I'm wrong, like Dak is my ultimate corrector. So he's like, I can just go into the game and like I'm at peace, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm not really stressed out or anything like that because I know I have Dak as the ultimate corrector. And then on top of that, I do have Zach Martin to my right and then Tyler Smith to my left. So he's like, I know that I'm gonna be okay regardless. And so, shout out to Boss Cowboy because he always talks about the soil. Like a player can be at a certain level, but if you put him in a certain room with all pros and Hall of Famers, then that prospect is going to be a lot better than what they would be if they were having to go to an offensive line room and basically be the savior. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that was great when it came to the offensive line. I didn't really have any other shock besides in the tight end room. I was shocked to see that Brevin Spann-Ford was ahead of John Stevens Jr., only because last year how high we were on John Stevens Jr. And we were devastated when he got injured and stuff like that. I will say in the total preseason, I don't think any of the tight ends looked great. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that was scheme or some of it was scheme, but some of it was just drop balls, not getting open. It just wasn't too great. Yeah. But I would have thought because of tenure, John Stevens would for sure be over Brevin Spann-Ford. But since he's not, clearly, I think Mike McCarthy has a plan for Brevin Spann-Ford. And who knows, maybe he's going to use them interchangeably. We don't know what Mike McCarthy's going to do, to be quite honest. Like,
that's a good point. That's a good point because we know. We're just talking about the trenches. We know that Tyler Guyton and even Terrence Steele at times, depending on what side, Garrett or even Zadarius Smith lines up on that. These guys are going to need help. These guys are these tight ends. Are going to possibly have to step up and be a help to the offensive line. So maybe that could be why he's listed ahead of him. But I don't know if you see today talking about we had the practice report coming up next, but John Stevens is actually dealing with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, that's true. But he's still on the team, so I just would have thought he said Stevens is in that doghouse because he fumbled. That probably could be a reason. Stevens did not perform as well this preseason. I don't know what happened, but he didn't really seem very confident. But this is just the first depth chart, so I do believe that. It's just a depth chart, you know what I'm saying? So just because it's like, oh, this person's first, don't mean that these people are not going to play. You look at the running back room. My guy Deuce is way on the end. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought Deuce would be ahead of Hunter Luepke because we don't even consider Hunter a running back. So I'm like I don't know.
Barely had any carries during preseason,
and he's not gonna have no carries this year because he's literally training to be a tight end. What's up, Marcus? So I'm really confused On why Deuce is way at the end, I really don't know, because we do know that we do have Dalvin Cook on the practice squad, and
Right.
people are like, "Oh yeah, Deuce is gone as soon as Dalvin gets up to speed," and I'm like, "Did y'all really let Deuce make the team just to once again exit him out of all the game plan? That just don't make sense.
Right.
Like, you taking up a roster spot for what? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
I love Deuce, that's my guy, but if you're not going to use him, then what the hell is the point of him being on the team? So I don't know. It'll be
Right.
interesting to see what the game plan is versus Browns. You know what
No,
I'm
I
saying?
I 100% agree with you, Star. Like I love Hunter Lipke, and I love, and even although even with the one fumble, because I don't even look at the fumble as something huge as what he brought to this team. I love his impact he on the team last year. But like you said, if you have, I mean, clearly they have a plan for him, and you have him involved, as being a blocker on the field, but for, really almost no touches, or to really no touches. I think in the preseason, I was surprised to see that.
Yeah.
Just see how involved he was in the preseason. They say he was putting in extra work after practice. Telling Zeke, I forget what Saw heard it on, but telling Zeke that, hey, it's still my turn. I'm ready to take on this role, but he almost had no role in preseason. So like you said, for him, number one, to be listed ahead of Deuce, and like you said, for them to bring in the Dalvin Cook and for Deuce to be the one to have to be out there
To
on,
be
on
cut
the
out,
leg.
like, to
You know
me,
what I'm
that
saying?
just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm trying not to feed too much into this depth chart, because
Right.
again, the depth chart is just a depth chart. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean. I think all of these guys are on the roster, and I think they plan to use them. It just
Yeah.
all depends. But yeah, those are pretty much the only things. On the defensive side, I wasn't shocked because
Right.
Maris, shout out to my guy Maris, another one of my pit cats who's listed here as a starter. He was a starter in preseason as well, over DeMarvion Overshown. Obviously, I think with DeMarvion, they're also like, what's the word? Like, getting him like slowly back acclimated.
Ramping him up. Yeah.
Because he had another injury, I think like a hip
Yeah.
corner
It's
or
a hit
something like
corner.
that.
Yeah.
But I think Maris really did earn his snaps with the first team. And then when I went to training camp last week, Maris is with the first team. You know what I'm saying? It was DeMarvion and Clark that were rotating out for the most part, and then it was like him and Kendrick. So,
yeah, shout out to Damone Clark as well, returning to practice today. I was happy to see that because I was worried. I think he got hurt.
Right. Shout out to
game, so
shout out to Damone. But if we look at this list, we are starting 4 rookies, because we're starting 2 offensive linemen that are rookies, and then you got Maris, and then you got Kalen. I would like to say with Kalen, I thought that they were maybe gonna do a shocker to us and let Israel start over Kalen. But I understand, you know what I'm saying? Technically, I feel like Israel should be starting over J. Lou. That's just my opinion. But
oh, really?
Yeah, I think Israel is a better, faster, younger, more athletic, longer too, slot corner. So he just has advantages, I feel like, that Jordan Lewis doesn't have, even though Jordan Lewis is a great slot corner too. You know what I'm saying? It's just really like, if you have a young guy and you have a veteran that are pretty much same, or the young guy's only a little bit less, and it's like you always just go with the young guy. You know what I'm saying? Especially because Israel hadn't played. But I do think that Zim will still use Israel as a Swiss Army knife. I think Mike McCarthy had talked about that, about how he's so versatile. So I do think that Zim is probably Zim is going to interchange all these guys. I think he's going to move everybody around. I don't think anybody's really going to be locked into one position. I think because that's what Zim is. He's a creator, very creative.
I mean, he mentioned the linebacker starting at all 3 positions in training camp. So I definitely feel you on that. And even like you mentioned, to your point about DeMarvion Overshown and Leofau, I mean, there's packages where these 2 guys could be on the field at the same time. So like you said, not saying like you said the depth chart does matter, but like you said, if he uses these guys interchangeably, like it really is up to
it doesn't matter. Exactly.
Up to the package to use. And shout out to Jay Word in the building. Really appreciate you being in the building, brother. Really appreciate
it. That's how I feel. I feel like Zim is going to use all of these guys. So I'm not really overly concerned about the depth chart or nothing like that. Like I know Marquise Bell's going to play. I know Wanya's going to play. Regardless that it says Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker are starters, I know those guys are going to play. I know Izzy's going to play. You know, DeMarvion's obviously going to play. Damone's going to play. You know, all of these guys will play. You know what I'm saying? And I think shout out to JC Cowboys.
Hey, what's up,
y'all go subscribe to JC Cowboys. Great content creator that does he does like film breakdowns and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
um yeah, but I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the depth chart. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
nothing too shocking, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with you. And one more point I will make, and thank you, JC. Really, really appreciate that shout out. But like you mentioned, Star, not really any huge shockers. But I will say, and shout out to Buddy Johnson because he's definitely a guy
Buddy
who I didn't.
Johnson.
Not saying I
Hmm.
didn't think he would make the team, but for him to be back up behind Kendrick, that's one thing I think that stood out to me. Like you said,
Hmm.
with Leofow starting, at his position, I think that, like you said, I think that shows. I mean, like you said, the confidence they really have from him for the confidence they had for him from the beginning. You know, what I'm saying coming in with him
Right from the
in the mix.
beginning. Right,
And,
they had that confidence in him, and so I'm really excited, and the players are excited too.
yeah,
First when I see it, like they all just seem like kind of amped, and I'm like, I don't know if that's good or bad, but
yeah,
like when you've been ready to play, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just ready to get this show on the road, and you cannot
exactly,
go into battle scared. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to
right,
go into battle confident. Now, whether the confidence breeds the results that you want, that's another story.
yeah,
But I do like that. Our young guys. I do think that we did. See, I did a show earlier in the off season called "The Right Kind of Guys," and I do think that we got the right kind of guys or the right type of guys because it seemed like their mindset is this draft class is just very mature for their age. That's what I would say. Like they just
yes,
seem like very
yes,
mature. They just still feel like it's on a different level than I feel like a normal rookies would. Usually rookies are
yeah,
kind of knuckleheads and they more worried about flaunting chains and all that type of
right,
stuff. And
right,
but these guys just seem like their dedication
yeah,
is just not.
responsible,
Yeah, the
yeah,
responsibility and the dedication to their craft. I feel like you don't
yeah.
really see that type of dedication in rookie players. But
Yeah, and
um
and also to your point, Star, I think also the way that I want to say kind of the way that they were brought in, like right, like I mean, we knew Tyron Smith was leaving, right? We knew Biotish left to go to Washington, so I think these, as far as BB and Guyton, I think these guys kind of came on with the knowledge of, hey, these down the road, you guys may be thrown in the fire, right? When we see the schedule, we know these guys are gone. So I think we just and BB mentioned that he was told early on by Solari that, hey, you're gonna be center, start working at center snaps, right? Guyton, got the Airbnb and started working right away with Duke Manyweather, excuse me. So
mhm.
and then knowing out the gate. Now, on the other hand, I say Kalen Carson may not have been, and even he said, hey, things happen for a reason, but you never know if someone's gonna go down, right? So and even
Mhm.
with the injury of Sam Williams, like not saying Nealon is coming in. Nealon wasn't necessarily the plan to replace Sam because he was drafted
Mhm.
before his injury, but it's a damn great thing that we ended up having him, right? So we
Right.
have known for those two particular positions, as far as D and of course with the two injuries that we now have with all I think all pro Deron Bland and then of course Sam
Mhm.
Williams, without being able to see who he's able to contribute yet, it's damn good that these Cowboys, like you said, mentioned with this draft class, able to bring in,
Mhm.
like you said, smart, responsible guys who are willing to step in, really, really willing to really jump into the fire, right? I mean, like you said from the beginning,
Mhm.
knowing that they're going to be playing, this strong, crazy schedule with the Cowboys. So, like you said,
Yeah.
being able to take on this much responsibility on their shoulders, and like you said, just willing to go up against guys like Max Crosby in preseason and get the nod from him. Like this isn't every
Yep.
day. This is every day, y'all. So
Right.
just
Right.
looking at rookies and just like and not just the rookies, but hearing all the other veteran guys in the room, to the coaching staff, and hey, even Jerry Jones. I know he's supposed to say these things, quote unquote, but everyone is really just giving glowing reviews and just really giving gold stars to our rookie class. And granted, we don't get to see all of them, but hey, we still have a Ryan Flournoy to look forward to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Nathan Thomas, who granted he's on IR, but I'm really trying to remember who mentioned him, but it might have been BB. I'm trying to remember who. And forgive me, but I seen the show. Watching a lot of Cowboys stuff. Forgive me, but I forget who says things. But there was someone who gave credit to Nathan Thomas, although he is on IR. They said that they're seeing things from him that could really make an impact on his team. So he could be a stash player right now, for all we know. But I'm
Yeah.
excited about the potential of the rookies that we're seeing so far with the guys that we do have, and the potential that we could see from the rookies that we aren't seeing just yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with these rookies, like you said, like these guys, I just feel like they're different, and maybe everybody says it about their draft class, but I feel like I hadn't felt like this about previous draft classes
Right.
that we've had in the Mike McCarthy tenure. So I just think these guys are special. I mean, it because of their own work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like what they
Right.
did, what they put in, what they've shown just shows that they put in the effort to be ready and they pushed it to the limit to actually be starters on this team. So
Yeah.
that's just a huge deal. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
as we look at transition and look at this
The practice report.
at the practice report, I mean, you can clearly see, like, for the most part, we're pretty healthy. The only person that may not play in this game may be John Stevens, because he did not participate at all today. But when you look at the Browns, I mean, most of their guys, they're not healthy. This was because all of these guys being limited. Now, do I think all these guys are going to play? Yeah, I think for the most part. If you're not a DNP, I think you're going to play. But them being limited, shows that they're not 100%. Maybe by game day they'll probably be about 80-85%. But and there's some starters on here: Dalvin Tomlinson, JOK, Jedrick Willis. Those are like their starting tackles. Jordan Hicks, I think, is a starting linebacker. Maurice Hurst, like these are starting starters for them. So look at all those DTs that are hurt.
Exactly. And they lost the one that they lost before ending the season. The defensive tackle they just lost, I think, Shiaka or Shock. I forget
they cut him. They cut him.
Okay.
They cut him. Sioka, I know who you're talking about. He was like their big one tech, but they cut him. But I know for sure Maurice, Dalvin Tomlinson are both starters. Those are their starting defensive tackles. So for them to be limited, that may be a key that we could run down their throats. You know what I'm saying? So.
And also another guy who's not listed on here, but I heard through a show today that Newsome, one of their cornerbacks, I believe he had surgery in this past offseason, which I learned today. So I'm not saying we could use that against him, but I did watch him. I think he played in in their first preseason game, and he was not shaky, but I understand it's preseason. These guys are just getting their feet underneath them. But I mean, that could be another knock against their secondary.
Yeah, with Newsome, and he's a hell of a player, but
yes,
of course we know, if he's a little bit hurt, it could affect him. Obviously, we're going to be down Deron Bland, so we do have a player that we actually know won't be playing for 6 or 7 weeks. These guys, Newsome, he's not even on this list, so I guess he's going to be playing unless they have him on IR. Is he on IR or something?
I don't think so. No, I think he's a participant. But I heard it mentioned on the show that he did have surgery in the offseason. I think they said it was about a couple months ago. So it's it's still.
So it hasn't been that long. Yeah. So it's going to probably take him some time to adjust. Back to the game and stuff like that. That's why I'm like, with this game, I'm just so interested to see what's our game plan, because what is Mike McCarthy and his game plan? Because when I look at the Cleveland Browns, I see a team that was basically scheme-wise like the Dallas Cowboys, like the past 3 years. I'm talking about defensively. They're a team where they mostly play man all day long. Like, that's who we were. We were a team mostly play man. You have all of these good man press corners all around, and they fly around and they get turnovers, and then you got a great defensive line that can go ahead and get you sacks. So it goes hand in hand. I think that you got the defensive player of the year over there, Myles Garrett, who I feel like you obviously got a scheme for, you got a plan for, because although we do have trust in Tyler Guyton, you don't want to just for injury's sake, you don't want to just keep making Tyler Guyton keep going, back on his heels all game versus Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? Because that just wouldn't be good. So I do see this as a game that you likely could play balanced. I don't think you just have to go in there and ground and pound unless it's just working. You know what I'm saying? Then do it by
Yeah.
all means. Go ahead
Yeah.
and take the Bills game plan and do it do it against them. But
Yeah.
oh, what's up,
Ooh.
Law?
Hey, what's up,
What's
Law
up,
Nation?
Law?
How you doing? Hey, what's up, JB?
He
It's so
said,
good to see you as well. We were just talking about you earlier, Law. Star was talking about it's the first time y'all met when you guys did your show out in Dallas, and really appreciate you guys kicking us that content that you guys always you
yeah.
Cowboy, Jazz Monet, Star now, like what I'm saying, like it's just so amazing having the content creators down there just always
Yeah,
giving great
I
content. Really
appreciate it. Thank
appreciate
you so much, Law, for supporting us. But
yeah,
yeah, I
really.
feel like with these Browns, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you're going to have to, and like I said, if y'all look at that defensive line, looks like they got a lot of DT injury. So
Yeah.
I would take
Yeah, I
advantage of
think
that. You know what I'm
Shelby
saying?
Harris was another guy I think listed on that report about possibly. I know he was
Oh,
listed early
Shelby
this week.
Harris. Okay, yeah. So it's
Actually,
like
he
you
wasn't on this list,
definitely.
but he was listed early in the week on the practice
Oh,
injury
okay,
report. But he's not on
okay,
there now,
yeah.
so I guess he's good to go.
Yeah, so it's like you definitely want to be able to. You do not want to play to this team's strength, which their strength is pass rush and coverage. So,
Exactly.
you don't want to play to their strengths. You know what I'm saying? You want to take the wind out of them. I feel like this is like people saying Dak will have a big game. I'm like, define big game. I feel like this is a 2 touchdowns, like 200-yard games for Dak. I don't feel like
Yes.
Dak is about to be. This is a playoff game to me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because this is a playoff team, and this is one of those games where this is this is what's great about our schedule is that we pretty much are starting off with playoff preparation. We're not playing the
Exactly.
Giants. We're not playing the Carolina Panthers. We're
Right.
playing the Cleveland Browns, which is a damn good team, who literally made playoffs last year with a
Yeah.
carousel of quarterbacks without Nick Chubb, and they still made playoffs. They
Yeah.
still won, I think,
And
11 games.
their two tackles. Their two tackles were out for I believe at least half the year last season.
Oh, so that's
Yeah,
nothing. I
Willis.
didn't even know
Yeah,
that
Wills.
is
I think Wills and
Willis.
the right tackle was out. I think even as early as week 9 to 10, because I went back and rewatched the game that Watson
That's
played against
crazy.
the Ravens, and their tackles were out then. So,
That's
so
crazy.
look, yeah,
So
so it
this
looks like
team,
Wills is trying to come back from his injury from last season. So
yeah,
it's like I mentioned earlier about the questions being on as far as the offensive side of the ball. Like I know the Browns have been dealing with problems with their offensive line. It's like I said, as early as last year. So for them to try to come back, and they mentioned Jack Conklin possibly coming in, which is actually interesting to me because they said that early this week they said that Conklin could come in for Wills in case he's not ready at left tackle. But I checked ESPN earlier today, and they had Conklin listed at right tackle. So I'm like, is Conklin the right tackle, or is their right tackle out? Because I think that's really important because we know we're going to have, of course, we know D-Law and Parsons, but I love how Nealon was moving in preseason and he was lighting that right side up. So that left tackle being down could be huge.
that's gonna be that's a good point. So looks like they got some weaknesses there on the offensive line. They got
Right.
guys recovering from injury. You got weaknesses on the defensive line. So this is going to be a game that this is going to have to be won in the trenches. That's why I said
Right.
this is a playoff game.
Right.
I don't. There's no reason at all to overlook this team.
At
Now,
all.
I'm not saying there's just no reason. Mickey just laid out all them injuries they was facing. They still went 11-6. And I know they got shellacked by Houston,
Right.
but Flacco did also throw like 2 or 3 picks. I think like 2 pick sixes or something like that. So
Right.
yeah, their defense got, but as well as their quarterback also did not put them in the best position. I didn't watch those games, so I don't know who has more to blame. Probably more the defense, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
still with that. I think that this is a game, so I don't think this is a game where Dak gonna be throwing, no, hell no, because I feel
I
like
know.
this is a game where you don't want a lot of mistakes. You don't want to
Right.
open up room for mistakes. This team is too good, and I think the key part to this team is Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun, and I'll shout out to Nick's, my guy Nick's, your guy Nick's on Twitter. I listened to Twitter Space, and he had some Browns fans in there, and I don't watch the Browns, so I had no idea how Deshaun played, but they basically said that Deshaun was not really playing too bad. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
he had the shoulder injury or whatever, but he's supposedly recovered from that. And so, if Deshaun Watson goes out here and he ain't playing like Pooh Cheese, and he's somewhat of a resemblance. So 100 grand, my guy Rico as well.
Hey, what's up,
But
100 grand? Rico, good to see you.
if he's somewhat of a resemblance of what he was in Houston, this is going to be a difficult game.
Yeah.
Like, this game is in no way, I don't see easy. I don't see, we going to wipe the floor. I see this being a close game.
Yeah.
In a battle, honestly, is what I see.
No, I definitely agree with you, Star. We kind of, like I said, I didn't watch the complete game, but just kind of going back over the schedule they had last season. Like, I had no idea, that they were actually able to beat the 49ers and, like I said, the Ravens earlier. So I was surprised. I would just, like I said, not going back and watching the entire games, but yeah, Deshaun Watson was able to move the ball up and down the field. Not saying totally resembling who he was when he did play for the Texans, but like you said, he still has that mobility from time to time. But I guess the thing that kind of works in our favor is that he does make those mistakes, right? I did see a couple early plays where he maybe didn't see a defender in his face, or he just kind of think he can get the ball over the defender, and next thing you know, the guy runs it back for a touchdown, right? I saw that in the Ravens game. So, it may be blitzed every now and then, but we can catch this guy slipping, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you want to make this team one-dimensional. So the key really is go in there, stop the run. Because you want Deshaun Watson coming off that shoulder injury. You want him throwing about 40 times this game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the more you throw, the more mistakes you can make. So you definitely want to pigeonhole Deshaun Watson in the throw. Now, granted, does he have good perimeter weapons? Yes, he does. He's got Amari Cooper. He's got Jerry Jeudy when Jerry Jeudy decides to show up. But he still got Jerry Jeudy. And he's got, I think, Elijah Moore. So he's got David Njoku, one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yes.
So he definitely has the weapons. It's all about, will he have time to get the ball there?
Yeah.
Zimmer, this is another game. I agree. Somebody said this is a defense. 100 grand. I agree. This is a defensive game. Yeah. And I think Zimmer, you're going to have to go in here and confuse the hell out of Deshaun, because I feel like that's the key. Confuse the hell out of Deshaun. Yeah. With our mixed coverages, he don't know we coming and going, no blitz. He don't know what's going on. Right. I feel like that's the key to win this game is confuse the hell out of Deshaun Watson. And offensively, I won't say you got to ground and pound it, but I do think you got to play balanced, because if you got Dak throwing it 40, 50 times, you're playing right into their strengths.
That's seriously the biggest point, because I think that's one of the things that we kind of want to see, right? Especially after last year, even the first couple games, the defense kind of had it, kind of starting off these blowouts, you know what I'm saying? So that way the offense can really get, we kind of struggle, because not saying the defense was doing all the work, quote unquote, but we didn't really have to establish the run game that early in the season. So that's definitely one thing I want to see, Star, coming out. We know we already kind of have these questions, with running back by committee, quote unquote. We've seen on the depth chart that they listed. I think I kind of look at the running back room kind of in the same way we were talking about earlier about the depth chart, quote unquote, not really mattering, because it's all situational, right? It depends on where they are in the field, whether they bring in Zeke, whether they have to go, whether at the goal line, or whether they want to, bring in Deuce, to be able to kind of, bring in shift moves, and saying maybe on first downs and trying to get 3 to 4 yards, just kind of create space, just kind of give them a little bit of breathing room to kind of get out of their own territory, which I'm not as upset about at all. And even Hunter Lipke, like you were just talking about earlier, hopefully we can. I know he's probably going to be used mostly in situations with blocking, but I really want to see a run game established. Even Rico, I've been a huge Rico, like, hey man, let's go. Like, I really hope that he can have, and hopefully he stays healthy. That's really one thing I want for Rico, to be able to stay healthy this year, because I just like that he packs that punch, but he also just has that speed. Like, what I'm saying, if you put him behind the wall, maybe on a screen pass, or even a toss. I'm saying he can, gain 5 or 6 yards, or even break a run. You know what I'm saying? So you never really know what to expect from him. But that's one thing, if I say, kind of going into the game, that I want to see kind of started off early, and definitely to be used often. Hopefully it can remain consistent throughout the game, because like you said, having Dak throw a lot, that's one thing. That's something that kind of Zimmer came in with his philosophy. Like, he wants the defense to be able to kind of collapse the pocket around Watson. But that's one thing I noticed about their defense, is that we hear about Miles Garrett, but please, guys, please don't forget about the Zadarius Smith. If you guys remember the Smith brothers when they were both in Green Bay, they caused
Yeah,
havoc on both sides, on both sides of the line, I should say. So
yeah,
don't
yeah.
just worry about Miles Garrett. Please remember
You
Zadarius Smith.
also had to worry about Zadarius Smith. I forgot that. And there was an update that said Jedrick Willis is likely going to be out because he says that he's not going to be starting. So I don't
That is
know
crazy.
if they're just
I
going
just
to have
listened
him on a pitch count. I'm not sure, but
because
he
Stefanski said
definitely
I
not going
listened
to be
to his
playing
press
the whole
conference. He said he was
game.
in practice today.
Yeah, but the report just came. Well, this was like 7 hours ago.
Wow.
And it says Jedrick Willis says he's not going to be starting Sunday against it. So I
Wow.
think, maybe he'll be on a pitch count or something. But
Yeah.
they definitely, the Browns are not as healthy right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We are healthy, so there are ways to attack. And somebody's like, do y'all think, I think Carl said, do y'all think we go in there and win? Honestly, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Yeah.
if we win this game or not. I would love to be like, yeah, we're gonna win, but it's like,
Right.
can we win? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like, should we win? Yes, but you can also do things like if you can't stop the run, because one thing I want people to know is that they were still able to run the ball without Nick Chubb. And they run a lot of counter trap pulls, and that's a running scheme that we've had problems with. The Cardinals did that last year to us, the Bills, and then also Green Bay did that to us. So this is going to be a real test for our defense to see, can we actually stop the run this year? Because I feel like that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to run the ball against us. They're going to try to protect Deshaun, let him make easy throws, and they're going to try to run the balls down our throat. So we really have to be able to stop the run. I do think I agree with Lou, who said, Micah, the Micah effect is going to be immaculate. I feel like that's the one thing that people really aren't, because people really haven't seen this Micah, right? You've seen rookie Micah, but that was rookie Micah. Yeah, he was moving around, but he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah,
So now you have.
I couldn't be more ready than to go out there on Sunday and play football.
How much does it help?
Go ahead. But now you have. This is year 4, Micah, under a defensive coordinator that it sounds like, and we're going to watch this interview, that he's fully bought into, that is going to be using him in ways that even Dan Quinn didn't use him, even his rookie year. So I feel like Micah really is the piece where I think a lot of people aren't, because of what Micah's done in the past, people are like, oh yeah, he's going to get 13 sacks, but I feel like people really are not comprehending how Micah can flip this defense. Because I think Micah is on a mission to prove, I am the best player in the NFL. So, we haven't seen that Micah. We've seen, top 4 defensive end Micah, top 3, but have we seen defensive player of the year Micah? No. So I think that Micah is our wild card, because I don't think people really know what to expect, because you can only go off of past year's film. Right. We're not going to be using him like that. So that's another thing. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think that's a huge point by you, Star. I'm glad you, and I'm shout out to Lou who brought up Mike in the chat, because I think, like you said, I think it's a huge point. I mean, we saw glimpses of that in Micah's rookie year, right, where Dan actually used him, sparingly, but we've seen him used every now and then in different positions on the field, and even last year we seen with the Miami game, from the first half, right? We just seen him kind of stuck in that one spot, but then he started moving around, slightly, but then in the second half he came out roaming the back of the field, and then I think on the first couple, or maybe the first or second play, I think we seen a sack from Micah, just being able to move around freely back there. I just think that kind of gives him a little bit more confidence in what he's doing on the field, and like you said, it's one thing for like you said, just in my opinion, I kind of brought this up off camera with Stars. I think Michael was kind of the main access to the defense, if you will. Like I know that everyone has to come on with their own want, their own willingness to kind of adjust to Zimmer being in the new DC and everything like that. But I think that once, because there was a whole talk of, is Micah, even Micah said when Zimmer first came in, like, hey, I'm a Micah. He's never had a Micah before. We're both gonna have ideas, but we're gonna see where it compromises that. And even, but Zimmer came back and said, hey, like, I'm the coach, I'm going to decide, what's best for, each situation, this, that, and the third. And then, so now we see Micah saying, hey, I love Zimmer. We have breakfast every morning. And after the interview, he said, I think we're going out to go have lunch. He's brought other guys into the room with him, Donovan Wilson, as part of the morning meetings now. I think before Trayvon Diggs was going to the meetings with them already as it was, and also being in the meeting, Paul Gunther as well. So just all this connectivity with these players, and really, if you will, the most important player on that defense, and being able to, I don't want to say convince, because he's the coach, he's the player. You want to work out things that work for the team, but to be able to bring along Micah in the way, number one, that he wants to be utilized, and also to let him know that, hey, I think there were some words, that Zimmer said to Micah, not exact quote, forgive me for misquoting it, but he says, hey, if you get down to the details, if you do these things down to the details, you can be the best, a version of yourself. So I think once a player hears those words, and not just Micah, but I think when the player hears those words, you hear about coachability with Nealon, kind of building a relationship with Coach Greg Ellis, saying with Kalen, even, building a relationship with Al Harris, with Trey Diggs and other players like that. I just think when the player hears words like that, they know that the coaches care for them. Like you hear about the players talk about McCarthy, and they love how he leads the team. He gets them pumped for the games. Unfortunately, sometimes we do, hear about players being nervous, things like that. But in general, you hear about the players talking about McCarthy. They love working for him and just being that that type of player for McCarthy. So I think once these coaches, kind of these players know what's the potential that they have, I think that gives them even more confidence.
Yeah, I would have to. I agree with that 100%. But let's watch this Micah interview so I can see what he said, because I didn't watch it.
Okay, I got you.
All jokes aside, I couldn't be more ready than to go out there on Sunday and play football.
How much does it help you getting Jordan Phillips, Linval Joseph, some more bigger bodies up front that you didn't really have for most of the offseason? What have you seen from them now, and how's that going to make your life easier?
I think just in all is going to make our life easier. Them getting that penetration, them forcing the quarterback to step back, just getting that knockback, that's going to be extremely important, especially on those early downs. That's where a lot of sacks come from, right, on first and second down. Third down sacks are common a little bit, but not too much, right? You catch them in the play action, you catch them off guard with them, you just get a beat on the snap, right? So that getting that early push, and those guys, those big monsters right there, I think that's going to be a great asset. And, it kind of shows you the type of guy Zim is, because I haven't seen this type of reconstruction in the D-line room since I've been here. So I don't know if it's Zim or, but he got it done.
What Zim got planned, how creative he'll be with your role?
I think on game day, I know y'all look at that PFF stuff, but y'all going to see I'm moving around a lot. Like, I don't think there is a side. I think each, I got my own personnels and stuff. It's going to be exciting, I'm going to say that, And I think I'll probably play every single person. And I think this is the first year where I could be in the 2-eye. I could be in the 3. I could be in the 4. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it could be a linebacker, be in the slot. I could almost be the safety if you look at it that way.
How many different positions you think you'll play?
Yeah, y'all. So I just seen that clip before jumping on here with Star, and I heard, like I mentioned to her, like number one, like I said, I think Micah being just the main piece that Zimmer and really the rest of these guys coming in on defense had to kind of persuade to, hey, just listen to our way of reasoning. I mean, even Coach Scanina, talking about Mozzie, like, hey, have a tough way of coaching, and maybe a hard nose, but Mozzie likes it. Mozzie is doing what I'm asking him. He's taking to it. So like I mentioned earlier with Nealon, like it's amazing, like with these rookies and second year, fourth year players like Micah, just be able to take on these newer coachings who, these players were questioned as to whether they could take on this newer style of coaching, and they've really just taken it and ran with it.
Yeah, I think even when you just listen to Micah, like every time he talks now, it's like he can't even help but like break down the game and like giving like specific position, and like he was not talking like that with Dan Quinn. He was like, listen, I keep the edge, and like I feel like he's got so much information, because
right.
you cannot talk about what you don't know. right? You can't give information about something that you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I just feel like how he broke down is like, listen, statistically, like you don't really get sacks on third down because of this, you know. So he did not know that. He did not know that last year.
Right. Right.
He knows that this year because Paul Gunther and Mike Zimmer have been teaching him the game. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
you saw a glimpse of this Micah's rookie year, but this was Micah just going off of his instincts. Now Micah actually has learned the game under Zimmer and Paul, and I think that's how they got him to buy in into the system. I think that's how they got him to buy in because, one, they acknowledged who he was before they came here. Like, you're a phenomenal player. We're going to build this defense around you. But if you would just do this could make you one of the greatest players of all time. And I think them giving him like the knowledge and education, it's going to help the entire defense. Not just Micah, but it's going to help Trayvon. It's going to help Dono. It's going to help them also be able to better lead on the field because they know what's supposed to be happening. You can't really rally your guys and lead them if you don't really know what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. Then you also have Eric Kendricks on the field. Then you added Linval Joseph. So it's just going to be so much knowledge and wisdom going around that we should see better results because the players know better. Last year, they didn't know better. You know what I'm saying? They did not know what they were doing. So this year, now that they have a coordinator that it actually does, I expect to see better results. Is it going to be perfect? No, but I expect to see better results.
I definitely kind of got the same feeling, not just players, like to your point, not just player star, but coaches as well. Like when I was kind of doing, I know it was off-season work, you know, just to kind of make up time. But when I was watching those old interviews of Scott McCurley, I kind of got the same feeling. Like last year, McCurley was always saying, well, you know, we got Micah. He's just going to be Micah, right? He's just going to do his thing. He's just going to go out there and beat Micah. And then with Marquise Bell, he's like, well, Marquise is going to do whatever you ask him. He's going to play with heart. He's going to just go out there and, you know, play for us. And we're glad he's stepping up. And then with Damone Clark, he always mentioned, you know, he has a high ceiling. He can accomplish this. He can do this. Like you mentioned, I never really heard any, like, as far as statistical reasons as why these guys can get the job done. You know, their traits, you know, what they actually bring to the field. But this year, you know, they bring on guys like Buddy Johnson, Damian Wilson. I know some of these guys, like Damian Wilson, is on the team anymore, but they brought in guys like Nick Vigil, guys who have knowledge of special teams, or guys who are mentally sound like Damian Wilson, you know, who's smart. Eric Kendricks, who they brought in here, who can be that veteran experience in the room. But when you listen to Scott McCurley's interview this year, he spoke about the things that Buddy Johnson, because he says he's great at the line of scrimmage. He can attack at the line of scrimmage. You know, guys like of course like Demarion Overshown, who plays fast and like with his hair on fire, but is able to attack the quarterback in the backfield, right? So you have all these guys in the room that have these different traits that they bring to the linebacker room. But before, McCurley didn't have that. He didn't have these guys at his disposal that did these different in the room that he could kind of, you know, work with and actually, you know, do his job with. So when you, like you mentioned, with just to kind of sum it up, with the players having the knowledge, he's also bringing knowledge to these coaches, and you know, maybe these coaches like McCurley is able to use these players as they should be used, as opposed to, you know, he knows he shouldn't be using a safety converting from a linebacker, but now he has more knowledge as to what body types he needs in the room, what kind of traits he needs in certain positions. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree with that totally. I think, you know, and good night to Carl. Appreciate you, Carl, and the Lunatic. I think both of them signed off. But if you guys are still watching, appreciate you guys' support. But yeah, I agree with that totally. You know, I just think that there was clearly some deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball in the coaching room as well as with the players. But it wasn't so much ability. It was just more so they didn't know. They just weren't taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't know. You know, even our defensive line coach and Aiden Dirty, you know, love his accent. Seems like he's a great guy. And now he's defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. And I wish him well. I hope they do great over there. And I feel like Dirty's going to be better because now he's learning from McDonald. But, you know, shout out to Law, who was just, you know, in the chat earlier. He was like, Aiden Dirty was training those guys wrong. And, you know, Law's friend that is a trainer was having to like correct things. So I think it was a lot of issues. You know what I'm saying? A lot of
Yeah.
coaches and players freestyling, and it just didn't end well. You know what I'm saying? Because the talent is so high, we were able to just demolish, lesser
Yeah.
teams. But we all know that once we got into the big leagues, we just got totally dismantled. We got
Yeah.
totally dismantled. Besides the Cardinals, that wasn't a big league. That was just a bad game morale.
Yeah.
But
Gotta be prepared.
the Bills, the Browns, I mean not the Browns, but the Bills, the 49ers, the Packers,
No.
like all of those teams just completely dismantled us. And I believe it's because we were out coached and outplayed because we did not understand. We did not understand quite what was going on or what we really needed to do. And Rico, you said, how's Overshown? Apparently Overshown's good. I think he's been able to practice these past 2-3 days. So I think he's good, and I think he'll be ready to play on Sunday. But anyway, I think since you have more, or I feel like we can wrap it up.
I was going to really in my last point before wrapping it up, because I know we talked about the rookies. And this kind of my last point, just kind of before we get out of here. I know we talked about a lot about the trench work, but what's your feeling on Kalen Carson? Because I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but we didn't. I mean, I didn't get a chance to expound on it. What do you feel about them putting Izzy and them kicking Izzy outside and then keeping Jordan inside, or vice versa? Do you think
they put Izzy inside and then they put Jordan? I mean, Kalen Carson on the outside. Me, I would have preferred for Izzy to start over Kalen because this is his 4th year, and I feel like Izzy is a corner. He played outside corner in college primarily, but obviously in the NFL, you see he can play slot too. So I would have liked for them to give him the nod, but I understand going with Kalen because I feel like Kalen played so tough. He reminds me of Bland, and he reminds me of Diggs in the sense of like he's a really good corner. He's young. He's gonna have some growing pains, but Bland had growing pains, and so did Diggs. You know what I'm saying? But what I see in him is I think he brings a sort. He's just like Bland and Diggs to be honest. He's like same temperament. Like all of them guys are very quiet, but when they get on the field, they're just different animals. You know what I'm saying? And so. Hopefully, hopefully us giving him the nod, it's just gonna build his confidence and just be able to prepare. Because I mean, can you imagine giving him these starts now? So it's like come time playoff time, he'll be ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And I just love the fact that our rookies, they're gonna be thrown into the fire against really good teams early, so that by the time mid-season comes around, they really are gonna be in mid-season form. For sure, I think so.
I definitely agree, and like you said, like shout out to Al Harris, taking on this group. Number one, I'm glad he was promoted to assistant head coach. First of all, and second of all, I just love that he's not that he wasn't getting credit before, but to see him work with another DB and like you mentioned with the temperament, like I'm glad you pointed out because I really noticed that and shout out to Bosch because he spoke about it on his show I think yesterday or today where he said about. He finds it hilarious when Carson makes those faces when he asks him questions, and he's like, he keeps it short and sweet, like, "Hey, I give you the answer. Like, you still looking for more?" I just, like you said, I just love that temperament. Same thing with Bland. He keeps it short and sweet. Trayvon doesn't really do interviews, he just like you said, it's one thing for these guys. That's one thing I love about BB as well. Not the same position, of course, but. Like you say, when you show one temperament, off the field, but when you see these guys on the field and they show that, like you said, they're ready for the position, they're ready for the opportunity. Excuse me, and for these guys at these pinnacle positions, like going against Jerry Jeudy may have been off, every now and then, of course by name Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore came from the Jets, and of course Amari Cooper. Like you're gonna want these guys who are, like you said, willing to step into the fire, and especially with this schedule starting out. Like you said, I love the confidence. And all of our rookies, especially, and these guys at these pinnacle positions like quarterback and center and left tackle. And I think these guys are really just going to show, like you said, how much they've been learning in this offseason, how much time the coaches have been putting in, and really, most importantly, how much time the players have been putting in, because that's really what I think is going to show on the field on Sunday. Because just the amount, I guess that's one thing I'll say before we head out of here. That's one thing I want to see just how much chemistry has grown over this whole offseason, because we spoke about the rookies gelling with the veterans giving these rookies praise, but it's really going to come down to what they show against this really, pretty much, I'm being honest, this tough team, a Sunday afternoon.
Yep, I agree. I feel like we can end on that. I feel like this was a great show. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Had some new people. David, really appreciate you rocking with us and for your commentary. And y'all know Nisi and Rico, the Lunatic JV, Keystone was in here earlier. Lou, Law, shout out to every JC Cowboys, everybody.
Lee Harrison on the Facebook group. Can't forget you, fam. Thank you for tuning in.
Everybody who's in here, just thank you so much for rocking with StarChasers Girls Talk Ball and supporting us. Thank you, Mickey, for putting this back on the screen. I am doing a sweepstakes. I'm on the road to 300. I think I'm currently at like 280 subscribers on YouTube. So if y'all could please help me, I am giving away either college football 25, Madden 25, or $75 gift card. So if y'all just screenshot that or pause your screens, follow those directions to enter into the sweepstakes. Once I reach 300 subscribers, then I will be doing basically the drawing of names. It's gonna be randomized, so it's no favor, but I'm put it in there, you know what I'm saying? And then I will, of course, reach out to the winner. I'll be announcing the winner, live and putting it on my platform so I can get in contact with them so that I can get them their desired prize to them. Thank you guys so much. Please like the video, share, and subscribe. And y'all stay blessed, and we'll see y'all next week, hopefully.
Yes, we're here, y'all. Football's here. And make sure you guys tune in. I know tomorrow, Thursday, first game of the season. Make sure you guys, I don't know if you guys doing the stream tomorrow, but make sure you guys tune into Star and Big Game James show tomorrow. You guys doing the show tomorrow?
Actually, I'm going to be with me and Boss are doing the show tomorrow. I think my guy Big Game James may join us. I thought my guy James was sick as a dog this week, but he recovered, so he might jump on with Boss and I tomorrow. But Boss, Cowboy, and I will be doing a show tomorrow, so y'all stay tuned for that. It will be live on my YouTube.
As well as Boss's YouTube. You guys check that out. Make sure you guys get up 300 subscribers. Do it now, please, y'all. Do it right now. Do it right now, y'all. We'll catch you guys next week. Appreciate you guys joining us.
Thank you, Dak Owns Filthy. Thank you.
Yes, everybody showing the support. We love you guys. We'll check you guys next time.
Yeah.